Hello and welcome to the BFL Footy Show, proudly supported by McDonald's Ballarat and also Ballarat Toyota and Shawnee. A massive weekend of BFL action. We'll start with the news that obviously Sebastopol recorded their first victory in a couple of years, and it was great to see. And you were there, you saw it firsthand, mate?
Yeah, it was. I actually got down there with about 15 minutes to go in the game, and my wife's obviously involved with Sebastopol Netball, so given that they were playing a dual gate game, went down and picked her up after spending the day out at Lakers, and boy, I got there at the right time. Left and it was three-quarter time when I left Lakers, and Sebastopol trailing by 18 points. Checked the live scores on the way there, they were 7 points down.
Yep.
As I walked in, Big Rowan Marshall's clunked one, kicked the goal, point down, and they were starting to get really, really noisy, the Borough. You could sense something was coming. And then 2 minutes later, he's clunked one again and kicked another goal to put them in front, and the lid literally blew off the place. Yeah. You always had that feeling, though, that Melton were going to come back, and they did. They went forward a couple of times. Jared Ramsey got a hold of one 40 metres out, didn't make the distance. It was, I think, Marshall again going back and taking the saving mark right on the goal line.
Yep.
Melton worked it. The ball didn't really come too far out. Sebastopol were okay. They were getting a run on and getting some good running footy going. Melton were always bringing it back in.
Yep.
It was in the Melton forward line. They'd rushed through a point. Sebastopol, 4 points of difference. Clearing kick out and the siren's gone. Grown men and women crying. Yeah. It was just huge scenes. It was like they'd won a grand final. We've seen the video of the club song, which has been on, it's got over 20,000 views on Facebook overnight, over the Saturday night. So by the time you're seeing this, it's probably gone up again. And fantastic scenes. Great win for the Borough, first since round 8 2012, and 1,102 days I think it was between drinks for the Borough. So obviously you feel a bit for Melton. Had a bit of a tough week and played really well last week. Brad Murphy coming back on as coach, and they were up and about, but then something like that. Obviously Melton are the team in this where they kind of get left behind because everybody focuses on how good a job it is for Sebastopol and how well it is, how well done they've got. You remember last year, Sebastopol nearly did it against Melton in pretty much the same round. Yep. Melton were able to come back, and that's what kind of had me thinking in that last bit, that morbid side of me thinking that Melton are probably going to come back and pinch this. They did it last year, can they do it again? But look, full credit to Sebastopol and Rowan Marshall, recruit of the year. Definitely,
and full credit to Shane Snipson because he's been there just for this year, and I think he's put a few things in place that certainly going to benefit that side moving forward, even though the on-field results probably haven't reflected that as much. But I think the way he's coaching that young group to play, for him to get the 4 points yesterday was great reward for all the hard work he's put in.
And what he's got now is something that coaches at Sebastopol haven't had in the last couple of years, a reference point, saying, boys, we can do this now, and here's the proof that we can do it. They've got that 4 points there.
Yep. We'll move on to the Darley Melton South game, Shawnee. Darley had a big win yesterday, 23 goals, 21-58, defeated Melton South, 11-13-79. Really important win for Darley. I think percentage was really important too because at the moment there's 8% that separates Darley from Lake Wendouree. So when Darley and Lake Wendouree win games in these next few weeks, the amount that they win by is really, really important.
And especially for Darley as well, knowing that Lakers have only got 2 games left. I've always got to buy in the middle there. Their 2 games are Redan here and North City. So they're tough games. They're playing the top 2 sides. So Darley need to win and win well. And what they do is they keep showing us signs that when it comes September, they're going to be really dangerous. Dane Grenfell, 7 goals yesterday. Jake Edwards a bag as well. So they've got the guys up and going in front of goal and kicking goals. Melton South aren't pushovers this year. No. They keep playing the game out. They kick their 10, 11, 12 goals a game against these top sides, which they've been doing fairly regularly. And a lot of times when sides are down like this, it's 5 or 6 goals. And we'll see that when we talk about the East Point Bacchus Marsh game. That teams just can't muster offense in that. Melton South can. They've got some good building blocks to work with, much like Sebastopol. They're probably 12 months ahead of where Sebastopol are at the moment, I reckon. Mark Peterson's got some really good kids to work with there.
For sure. East Point played Bacchus Marsh in another big game in the context of the final 6.
Huge.
The winner of this game was really going to cement themselves inside the 6 and really play finals. And East Point did that yesterday. East Point 23-18, 156, defeated Bacchus Marsh, 6 goals, 5-41. So a comprehensive win there for East Point, and it shows that they're a genuine, wouldn't say a premiership threat, but I think they're certainly worthy of their right to play in September.
Agreed. They're not just making up numbers, and they showed that yesterday against a team that has been there or thereabouts all year and is one of those teams threatening to play as well. So they come up against Lake Wendouree in a final. They'll push them, especially if they can play a game like yesterday. One of the things they did have in their favour yesterday was Jordan Staley playing for them as well. 4 goals. But also within those 4 goals, also just helping that structure out, freeing up Brad Whittaker, freeing up the other forwards, allowing Jake Dunn, Joel Van Meel, those kind of guys to stay at home in the back line as well, and not having to go up the ground and force different matchups. Midfield flying again as well. Daniel Tongue, best on ground again for East Point. And good to see old mate Toby Boyle having a good game as well.
Yeah, full credit to Glenn Morgan Distilling. He's done a really good job with this group, and they're obviously improving. So, as you said, I think if they come up against a side like Lake Wendouree in the finals, I think they're a big chance for sure. Lake Wendouree played Ballarat yesterday at the Wendouree Reserve. Lake Wendouree 16 goals, 17, 113. Defeated Ballarat 10 goals, 8, 68. Lucas Anderson was really good, kicking 5 goals. He's probably one of the most informed players in the competition at the moment, Shawnee.
And you can just see his work rate. I watched a bit of it yesterday. He kicked his first goal within 15 seconds of the game yesterday. He was absolutely flying, and the Lakers put Ballarat to the sword early. Quarter time, it was 8 goals, 1-1 goal, and the game was over. There was absolutely no doubt about it. Ballarat did a great job to come back in the end, but Lakers did take the foot off the pedal a bit at the end.
Yeah, I think you look at it, actually, this game was actually played in 2. As you said, the first quarter, it was 11 scoring shots to 1. They led by nearly 55 something points at quarter time. But after quarter time, Lake Wendouree kicked 8 goals to Ballarat's 9. So look, both sides can take a little bit out of it. Obviously, their first quarter was excellent, but Ballarat after quarter time really stuck at their guns, and full credit to them, I think, because they could have easily thrown a towel in and got beaten by 80 points, but they stuck at it. And they were competitive after quarter time.
And they've done that against the top sides in the past couple of weeks. They've faced the top... Their last 5 games, they've been against the top 5 sides. And apart from last week against East Point, they've hung in there really well.
And probably Lake Wendouree would have, at quarter time, they would have thought, right, here's a chance to really have a big percentage booster here to try and bridge the gap between them and Daly. But obviously couldn't really capitalise on, I suppose, their quarter-time lead. But still, though, 4 points is very important.
4 points is 4 points. And a few players out for Lakers yesterday as well. Steve Clifton didn't play. Matt Tominello's nose is still all over his face. And Isaac Kirby's out with the thumb injury. He was trying to shake his hand yesterday and he was in plaster. And just good to see Curbs has got rid of that stupid mo that he's been rocking for a few weeks.
And they still won by 45 points in the end. So still a very good victory for Lake Wendouree. So one to Lakers there. Sebastopol played Melton, as we know. Sebastopol 13-5, 83, defeated Melton 12 goals, 7, 79. I'll read the half-time score out. At half-time, Sebastopol 4 goals, 1, trailed Melton 7 goals, 4. So for a young group to come back after trailing by a margin shows a lot of character. And as you said before, Roel Marshall was great. He kicked 3 goals. Tyler O'Sullivan-Kirshner, he's an underrated player.
He is.
He kicked 4 goals, and he's a promising. He's one of the most promising younger players in the competition, I think.
He's a player that 2 years ago came out of the under-18 comp. He played at Redan and played under-18s there and had really big raps on him in the under-18s. Moved over to Sebastopol. Has struggled a bit with injury, suspension at times as well. But what he showed yesterday is a glimpse of his true form. And if he can keep building like that, they can keep guys like Roel Marshall around the club and build on it next year and build on that core and get a couple of other players in there. Sebastopol will go okay.
For sure.
Sing no sad songs for them. I reckon they're on the right track.
Definitely. And Sunbury played North Ballarat City yesterday. North Ballarat City 15 goals, 8, 98, defeated Sunbury 10 goals, 10, 70. Sean Lyle kicked 5 goals. He had a good day up forward. And Ryan Hobbs was very good down back for North City.
North City has been all year.
Just cruising along, aren't they, North City? Just doing what they need to do, I suppose, and winning these games.
Yeah, good to get them back on the winners list. A bit of a danger game, really, as well, because we know how good Sunbury are in their home deck, and obviously they needed to win this game as well. They're now 2 games behind East Point in 5th spot. They're a game behind Bacchus Marsh in 6th as well, so they really need to scrap and fight for their season going forward as well. But I tell you what, North City rebounded well, got back onto that winners list. Shawnee Lyle kicking some goals as well. They'll be a different team on a dry. Obviously, we saw them out here against Redan and got knocked over last week. Heavy track. They're a different team on a dry track. Having said that, they're in and under, and their contested work does hold them very well on a heavy surface. Redan obviously beat them at that game last week, but get them on a dry track, and I reckon they're a bit of a different story where they can use their run, they can use their pace, and they can hit up blokes like Sean Lyle and Derek Micallef. Will we see him again this year? May see him come round 18.
I hope we do.
Maybe kicking some dew off.
Yeah, we always want the better players playing in September, so hopefully he can get back.
I had a chat to Derek last week. He's back running again. A pretty bad hamstring injury that he suffered, of course, against Lake Wendouree in round 9, so it's going to take him 9 rounds to get back. He's setting himself to come back against Lake Wendouree in round 18, maybe through the 2s, and then play the first final the next week.
Very good, mate. Great wrap, Shawnee, and thanks for joining us, mate, once again.
Anytime, mate. It's a pleasure.
Thanks for joining us in the BFL Footy Show for another week, proudly supported by McDonald's Ballarat and also Ballarat Toyota. Have a good weekend. Bye for now.